Welcome to Conversations Below the Surface, the CBS Podcast Shorts. I am your host, Marcus Gentry, and we hope you enjoy this episode. I would like to invite you to think about something that you would like to achieve. Maybe it's something financial. You want to achieve a certain amount of money or some material possession, a home, a car, something material that you would like, or something that you would like to accomplish in terms of your health. Maybe there's something else that you want to achieve in terms of your career, maybe in terms of relationships that you would like to have. I want you to think of that and imagine that as we have this next discussion. And I want to begin it by saying that without sacrifice, there can be no progress. Frederick Douglass, in one of his many quotes, at least part of it, he says, there are men who want the crops without plowing the ground. He's suggesting that people want to gain benefits without any sacrifice. They want to get something for nothing. And of all the people that I've had a chance to interview and books that I've read and programs that I've watched, I have seen no example of anyone who has achieved great success and did not make great sacrifice along the way. So I want to examine closer this whole matter of sacrifice, because we throw the word around all the time, but I think we do it sometimes without going to the fifth level of understanding and inquiry about what does sacrifice actually mean and how do we use it to accomplish the greatest good that we say we want to accomplish. First of all, if we look at the root of sacrifice, it comes from sacred, something to make holy. In fact, years ago, people would sacrifice or give up what they believed as valuable to deities. In fact, there are even reports of people sacrificing children and many things. They believed they would gain something great if they made these sacrifices. So it's about giving up something, surrendering something that's of great value to you to acquire something back. So let's look at three things that's going to help us at the end of this short to better use sacrifice in our life to get what it is that we want. The areas is what, why, and how. The first one is what. So can we ask the question, what is it that you're willing to sacrifice? People, places, things. And I think people is still too broad. I think it's important when you start talking about, are you willing to make sacrifices in terms of people? Let's talk about relationships. To get what you want, you may have to make some sacrifice in terms of relationships. Maybe this is a relationship with a family member, because it's easy to think about sacrificing relationships with people who aren't that important to your life or that important in your life. But when we think about sacrificing that's something that is precious to us, what if that sacrifice has to do with a child or a spouse or a parent or sibling or people in our family, people that we are connected with? Are you willing to make that sacrifice of people that you are close to, making a sacrifice in terms of places? So maybe you even sacrifice your home, give up, surrender your home so that you can share that home with maybe a family member who's going through something or somebody who is needing some help. So maybe there's some things in your physical environment that you sacrifice. Maybe there are places that you have to sacrifice going to because you want to accomplish something else. So maybe going to certain restaurants is not going to be good for you because you're working towards a higher goal. Maybe places like going to a casino if you're trying to avoid gambling, or going to a bar if you're trying to avoid alcohol, or maybe going out to clubs if you're trying to avoid getting involved in relationships other than the person who you say that you want to be committed to. Are you willing to make a sacrifice, surrender some of the places that you would normally go? What about the things that you have? Are you willing to sacrifice maybe time, maybe money that you have, maybe the attention or maybe the energy that you have? Are you willing to sacrifice those things for what it is that you say you want to accomplish? Now, you're thinking of whatever this thing is that you say you want, but without sacrifice, there can be no progress. So you might have to sacrifice something in terms of relationships with people or places that you go, or maybe the things that you have. Now, the second area to consider with sacrifice is the why. Because if we don't know why we are making a sacrifice, then it's not a sacrifice at all. It's just a loss. So it's important to know why. That means the foundation. What is your reason for wanting to make a sacrifice? It's important to have that reason be solid, because sometimes giving up something that's precious and valuable to you might be painful. And without knowing why it's important, you can't turn that pain into purpose because you're just giving up something. So it's important to know why you're making the sacrifice, so that your denial is not empty, but it's based on discipline. It's important to know why you are sacrificing what you sacrifice. Now, many people stop right there, if they even go that far. But it's the third area that makes all the difference in the world. And that's asking the question, how long will you sacrifice? And how much will you sacrifice? See, some people sacrifice for their jobs because they want a certain career. So they sacrifice time with their children. They sacrifice time with their family members and friends and doing other things because they want to pursue something else that's important. But how long? Some people say, well, yeah, I sacrificed, but I was only planning to do that for 3 months or 6 months or 1 week or something. Have you given thought to how long you're going to sacrifice and how much? How much of your time are you willing to sacrifice? How much of your money are you willing to sacrifice? How much of your focus and attention are you willing to sacrifice to get what it is that you say that you want? Now, sacrifice is not an option if you're going to make progress. It's a necessity. It's a must. Frederick Douglass says that some people want the crops without plowing the ground. And I say that without sacrifice, there can be no progress. Are you prepared to make a sacrifice for what you say is important to you? Thank you for listening to this CBS Podcast Short. If you would like to hear more on this topic, please email me at respect@marcusgentry.com. And don't forget to check back for new episodes.